Well, we are so excited today to have a phenomenal representative of Freedom Financial Network here with us. My name is Jessica Pierce. I'm the founder and CEO of Career Connectors. And I get to introduce you to Dave Richardson, who is the Vice President of Engineering for Freedom Financial Network. And not only that, but we're bringing Freedom Financial Network on so you guys can understand what it's like to work for an amazing company. So I'm gonna list out some of the awards, Dave, that you guys have won. Number one, best place to work in Arizona. You are one of the most admired companies in Arizona. You're a top 10 best place to work company in the Bay Area. You've been identified as one of the healthiest places to work in Arizona, fastest growing companies. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And so thank you so much for taking time out of your day and meeting with me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to meet you and to talk about freedom.
Absolutely. Well, let's start with what do you currently do at Freedom Financial Network? What's your role?
So as the VP of engineering, what that means is I work on applications that our internal users use to essentially to perform their jobs. So we have several VPs of engineering across different business lines and different objectives. Mine primarily is in the debt relief product, where I am building the systems that handle all the sales systems. So essentially the CRM system for the salespeople and what they're doing. And then all the operation side on the backside that is essentially collecting the money and making the payments out to all the creditors and stuff. So we don't do a tremendous amount of transactions. It's only about 2 million transactions a month, but it's a highly important transactions for our customers that we have.
Yeah, and so this your move here into Freedom. Tell us a little bit about what you did before and how you've kind of moved into the role you're in right now.
Okay, so I spent many years in actually the marketing and ad tech world doing what I like to say, selling my soul. So I wrote systems and helped do digital advertising for anything you could imagine under the sun, trying to convince people to buy stuff that they didn't really need. And then working on how to essentially, all the stuff you read about Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff to try and get you to engage and get you to essentially come and purchase stuff that you don't need. I did that for 20 years. And after 20 years, I was like, it kind of left hollow from that whole thing. And so I left without a job and started looking for a place that I could come to where I thought it would make a difference in people's lives. And so I stumbled across Freedom. And then as I learned more about it, I realized that Freedom wasn't just saying that they were changing our customers' lives, they truly were. And so it was like I went from selling my soul and would hawk anything to a company that really cared about people. And that carries through to our customers, and then also the way how they even treat the employees here. So it was a great move to kind of find a place that would start to enrich my soul a little bit and give back to everyone around.
And it's interesting because as we went through and now are kind of on the backside of the pandemic, so many people have one of the key indicators of if I'm going to change a job is, does what I do matter to this world? And so people really got time to think about that. And a company like Freedom, you are literally changing people's lives by what you're helping them do. How long have you been with Freedom?
I've been at Freedom about 3.5 years.
Okay.
So I've watched people come into the program where they're completely distraught. They think they have no options other than bankruptcy or something worse. And it's just horrible. You listen to these phone calls with these people, you talk to them, and it's gut wrenching. And then after, depending upon the length of their program, between 2 and 4 years, you listen to them when they graduate and the relief they have that, they've paid off all their bills, that they're in a much better space. They've learned how to save. It's like just listening to those 2 calls back to back is like incredibly changing, where you go, yeah, we've made a difference in those people's lives.
For sure. How many people do you have on your team, and what kind of things do they do?
So on my team, I roughly have about 50 people, and that includes developers, QA personnel, and product people. And then we have also some designers in UX. And together we work together to essentially gather all the requirements for our products, and then work with business to make sure that it's going to achieve their objectives. The one thing that's a little different than the way we run most of our Scrum teams is, in most organizations I've worked at, when you have your Scrum teams, they're assigned a product. Like, I always work on this product. In our Scrum teams, we do a little bit differently. We say, here are the objectives we'd like you to achieve. We'd like you to improve customer satisfaction. We'd like you to improve contact rate.
Yeah.
And we give those goals to the team for a quarter and say, do what you need to do to make that goal happen. And so that allows them to walk across lots of different systems and different applications in order to affect that change within the organization and for our internal and external customers. So it gives them a lot of agency and a lot of ownership in actually impacting the company directly, versus saying like, hey, can you add these features to this application that you've worked on for the last 3 years?
So it's really like the how they're helping people and what they're doing. So it really gives them ownership of that.
Yeah, it does.
They get to own that.
And it allows them to move throughout systems however they want and create systems if they feel like we don't have the right systems there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, you've seen technology change dramatically over the last 20 years. How have you seen it evolve?
Oh, well, the last 20 years, I've actually seen it change over the last 40 years. Mm-hmm. I always tell people, like, my first computer was 1.7 hertz. Not gigahertz, hertz. 42K of memory. Now we're at gigahertz. There's RAM as a plenty. So I've watched things change where you had to worry about every single bit all the way, like, let's just make it easy to use and stuff. Over the last 20 years, what we've seen is really people moving from object-oriented programming to this much more decentralized streaming and reactive environment, to where we can process things in a much more straight fashion than what we traditionally did. Like, it used to be, like, even when I got here 3.5 years ago, every night we would dump all this data into a database, into a data lake, and we would run all these batch reports to get all the data. And business moves way faster than that nowadays. Data from yesterday is old. We need data now. And so over the last 3.5 years, we've moved to data streaming and microservices and real-time reporting, to where we're watching what's happening instantly now with our business. And so that way then sales or operations can make adjustments midstream throughout the day, instead of having to wait for tomorrow to see what the report is. Yeah. So it's really moving at this light speed with all this new technology we have. Yeah. So yeah, even things, I mean, like you said, in the 3.5 years you've been there, it's changed completely. All right, let me ask you this. What is like one of the coolest technology innovations you've experienced at Freedom? And, is it impacting your clients and your business? So I think one of the things that's been one of the most fun things to work on, one of the most challenging is, and this is going to sound really kind of like boring probably to most people, is actually, how do we route phone calls to our agents? So we actually built a communication interface that our agents use that talks to Twilio. So it's all API driven. We're using modern technology for our phone system. And when we get a lead in, we can score it. And then we can look at our agent scores and the lead score, and then determine what is the best agent to handle that lead. Wow. So there's a whole bunch of factors that go into that scoring, but it goes through a whole bunch of, like, it has to kick off to all these back-end processes that all process in parallel, that then captures all the data, and then scores it, and then routes it through the system. You're talking about, thousands, tens of thousands of calculations that have to be done in, sub-milliseconds, because no one's going to wait on the phone for you to do all that calculation. So it's been really fun to, like, work on that. And that's a whole host of microservices, Kafka queues, various data stores that we go against. And you have a team of 5 or 6 Scrum teams that are working on that at any time to make sure that operates properly. Yeah. So when I call Freedom, if I'm a potential customer, I'm not going to have to hit 8 and then 7 and then 4 and then 3 and then maybe talk to someone and get put back on hold. Yeah, we're pretty good. We do have one thing that, believe it or not, all those annoying robocalls that you get, we get those same annoying robocalls. Oh, okay. So we do have a press 3 to prove you're human. But after that, we look up your phone number. And if you're a customer, we just send you to a CS agent. Yeah. If you're a creditor calling in, we send you our negotiations team. If you are in the sales queue or an unknown, we put you to the sales agent. So we
Yeah.
get you to the person as fast as possible because our goal is to get you to a human within less than a minute.
Yes, that's fantastic. I know, and sometimes when people call in, they're really in a tough place. So the last thing they want to do is get frustrated by having to give their information over and over and over again. It's awesome what you guys are doing. All right, David, it looks like you are in the office today. Is that where you're working from?
It is. Now, my team is 100% remote. So I have staff that is located in throughout the whole United States with concentrations in San Mateo, which is in the Bay Area, Phoenix, and then in Dallas. But we have people outside of those areas within the United States. But I also have staff in Mexico and also in India. So we truly are a global organization when it comes to our development staff, and everyone works remote. I live 3 miles from the office, and I personally do not like to work from home. So I come into the office, I have through the whole pandemic, everyone thinks I'm weird, everyone thinks that is odd, and I can appreciate that, but I like to go to the office. It keeps, that way that I'm not distracted by my dog, my kids, the pool guy, whatever's happening, I can focus on work. I need that. But the rest of my staff, they're able to be totally remote 100% of the time. There's no expectation that you come into the office. It's available if you want to, but like I said, everyone is remote 100% of the time.
Yeah, and you guys have beautiful facilities if your staff chooses to come in.
It's a beautiful facility. I sit in we're just coming out of the pandemic. More and more people are coming in, but still we have these 2 big buildings in Tempe and one in San Mateo. It's for about 2,000 people, and there's typically in any day there's maybe 30 people in the office.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we heard a little bit about why you chose Freedom and the impact you're making. What is like, why would you say, hey, this is a great place to work?
So there's a couple of reasons why I would say this is a great place to work. The first one that I think is really important is we have core values. And these 4 core values are used throughout the organization for making decisions for things. So the first one is care for everyone. And I think I mentioned that one of the things I really liked is that they really care about our customers and they really care about our employees. So that is really one of the big drivers of Freedom, is that they really do care about people, and they want to make sure that that is always, front and center. We still have to make money. Money is a thing. We're a profitable business. We're making, a fair amount of money. And we've been profitable, I think, for all 20 years we've been around. So it's important, but caring for everyone is important. The next thing is act with integrity. And this is really important, is they expect everyone to be honest and truthful and to do the right thing every time, no matter what it is. So people are empowered that if they think that they need to do something because there's something that's gone wrong with a customer's account or whatever, they're empowered to make the decisions to act with integrity and do the right thing for the customer. Yeah. Because in the end, it's all about helping our customers succeed. And so we want to make sure that we're operating that way all the time. And then the next 2 are kind of more internal, but one is get better every day, right? We know we're going to make mistakes. We know that there's going to be issues. We know there's going to be problems. But if we can just work every day to be better, every day, we're going to become a better organization and we're going to become better people. Yeah. And so we see that all the time. Like if there's a mistake or whatever, we don't try and, accuse anyone or try and cause, any sort of the strife you would normally have. We just feel like, get better. We'll learn from this. We'll all learn from this, and then we'll continue to get better. And we see that in our engineering teams. Whenever there's a production issue, we get together, we do a root cause analysis meeting, we try to determine what the problem is. And like most organizations, we identify people that may have made mistakes or whatever, but instead of like saying, hey, you made the mistake, we're like, okay, that was a mistake was made. Let's get better. How can we improve these processes? How can we improve it so that we all get better so next time it's not there? Yeah. And then the last one is collaborate. Just work with everyone. Especially as we've gotten larger, it's like we just need to make sure that we reach across the aisles and work with our peers throughout the whole business and collaborate to come up with the best solution. Because no one person ever has the best solution, right? Right. The more people you can involve, the more people you can collaborate, you're going to have a better solution. So these are some great core values that we really believe in, and we're, I think it's one of the reasons why Freedom has really been successful in gaining all those awards that you mentioned earlier, is because we really focus on it.
Absolutely. So you guys, Freedom is a personal finance digital company, but really you lead with your people.
Correct.
Right. So let's talk about that a little bit more here, and then talk about the benefits of working there.
Okay. So, as far as, the digital personal finances that we have debt resolution. That's the business unit that I work with, which is where we help with settling people's debt so they don't have to go through bankruptcy or spend forever trying to dig themselves out of a hole that they can't get out of. And then we have those more traditional product offerings that people are familiar with. Debt relief is kind of a product that most people don't understand, and maybe at some point we can dive into that, but this is probably too short of a time period for this. But consolidation loans or personal loans, these are, people are familiar with these. These are, you call up, you say, hey, I'd like to have a loan, you get the money, and we help essentially consolidate all your debts together so that you have a single payment at a lower interest rate. We then have mortgage and home equity, which is a HELOC product. So if you have a lot of equity in your house, we can tap into that to help you essentially consolidate all your debts also into another low payment solution to help you get out of debt. And then we are working on all sorts of interesting products in the future. We're looking at maybe a banking product that has lower fees and can help, really help people build credit. Also looking at how can we help people with student debt loans, because student loans are crazy, right? Everyone seems to be feeling the weight of that. So we're working on it. We're always trying to come up with what are the next products we can offer to help people become financially secure in their life.
And I think that's important to say. You guys started out as debt resolution, and you have grown to support that original mission that you're continuing to grow on.
Correct. We're trying to make sure that wherever people are, that we can make sure that they're succeeding in their financial journey to health.
Okay, David, it sounds, Freedom is just such an excellent company to work for. Can you walk us through a little bit more on your benefits? What do you guys offer?
Well, I'm just going to hit a couple of key points on this slide so I don't mire down into too much details, but I just want to point out that over 30% of the promotions in 21 were from internal candidates. So that's really big. We're believing in recruiting inside the organization. Also, as part of that, we believe in having a very diverse staff, and we work really hard to make sure that we have a well-diverse staff. So we have excellent thought diversity and stuff. And so it's an amazing diverse staff that we have here. Also, we have with our wholehearted health plan, a couple of things I want to call out that are super important is no cost mental health. I mean, that's a big deal. It seems like a lot of plans nowadays don't include mental health. And then also no cost on everyday drugs like your insulin or your high blood pressure medicine, because we believe that you shouldn't have to worry about paying for that sort of stuff, right? It should just be there. And then our PTO, you start your first year with 3 weeks of paid time off, which is amazing. It's not like you have to accrue it, you just get it. You also get 4 hours of PTO on your birthday. And then you also get 16 hours to volunteer within the community. And then the thing that's most exciting about this, like I said, we take care of not only our community and our members, but also our staff. We have the Freedom Fund, which allows us to essentially, we're able to donate money to this nonprofit, and then they hand that out to people within Freedom that are struggling financially for whatever reasons they may have. It might be that they have, high medical bills, whatever. But the thing that I think is most unique about this is actually, as you start to bank up more and more time, you can actually turn over your unused hours into the bank so that other people can use that time off to help care for whatever issues they might have happening as emergency in their life. So it's a great set of benefits.
It is such excellent benefits. And that no cost mental health programs is an amazing benefit. So many companies don't have anything like that, and employees really need that at certain times in their life. So thank you again for walking us through that. You guys are growing. How do I apply? Tell me a little bit about that stuff.
So we'll skip this slide. We already mentioned I have people in Arizona, California, Texas, and throughout the whole United States and outside of it. If you're interested in working, probably the easiest place to go to is we have a website called FFN Jobs. And there you can see all the jobs that are there. So whether it's even technology or in business, finance, they're all listed there. It's a really great resource to see what's all there and what's all happening. So
I love that, because it's not just, people think debt relief. And so you're hiring maybe collectors and finance people, but it's so much more than that. It's basically every position that a company would need to run.
Correct. I mean, I know right now within the technology team, I think we have 60 open positions.
Wow.
So we're looking for people that, data scientists, business intelligence, software engineers, data engineers, product people, UX designers, you name it. I mean, IT support personnel, network engineers. I mean, everything in the technology group we have. But outside of that, we still need like accountants, salespeople, CS agents, loan officers. I mean, payment specialists. It goes on and on and on. So there's always a job opening here.
Yeah, and it's great. You guys have a couple entry positions that if you want to start entry level, there are multiple entry positions into Freedom, and then you guys have such a great ability for people to grow careers, which you mentioned multiple times, but to kind of figure out what their niche is and to move into different positions. And because I've been working with you guys, I think for about 10 years now, and every year it's just growth upon growth upon growth.
Yeah, and it's neat to see people that have been here. I have one lady that's on my staff that's been here 15 years. And it's amazing all the different jobs she's done. And she's like, it's like a lot of times when I'm like, oh, I need to know where this thing is. I go to Heather because she knows where it is anywhere in the business, because she just knows it.
Because she's been there. That's that's a long time for your company.
Yeah. Which, by the way, one of the cool benefits is that 10 years you get a trip to anywhere in the world, company paid for.
Wow.
So there you go. There's a reason why I stay here for 10 years.
There you go. Well, thank you so much, Dave. We love working with Freedom Financial Network, and you do so much for our community and supporting people, not only in career transition, but our community at large. And so thank you for meeting with me today and sharing your information. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate you. It was a pleasure to talk to you. I'm going to throw out one little thing about our benefits is 16 hours a year. We give employees to go volunteer to the community. So it's literally, how do we help people everywhere? So
you are literally in the community, helping the community.
Correct.
All right. So ffnjobs.com, and that will help find jobs that are open for Freedom.
Correct. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Bye.